Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with you. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw those back to me. I appreciate that very much. Thanks to everybody that's watching the stream and hanging out. I apologize if you were. Hi, Lashbrook. Welcome, welcome. If you were enjoying the closed captioning, the stream closed captioning, um, I do not know why, but unfortunately, the closed captioning seems to not show up anymore. And I don't know why. I've tested it a bunch of different ways. I uninstalled the extension. I put it back in. I tried a number of different methods to get that back, and I do not know why it is currently not working. So I apologize for that, uh, but it is unfortunately what it is, and what it is it's not working. But um, but I hope you're having a good evening. I'm having a good time here on a Saturday night. We're going to model kit build, well, Lego build. Do I have a model kit ready in case we get through all this Lego tonight? Yes, because we are working on a 3-in-1. But it's a small little kit picked up off my Amazon wish list. Thank you very much to Adjective Noun Gaming for picking that up. But basically, we're going to finish up a car, which we started a bit on Thursday. We'll do that car. Then we'll move on to a plane. And then I'm calling it a roadster. It's another car. It's just another car. It's a different kind of car. But we got to build all those. I think it's going to take the rest of the stream really, because we have to assemble the biggest of the three, then disassemble it, assemble the new one, the plane, disassemble it, assemble the roadster. So while I have a model kit ready that my $10 patrons over at patreon.com/patbear voted on what I build next, so that's ready. But I think that this will be most, if not all of the stream, will just be doing this. And I think it's going to be fun. And I hope you have a good time watching. Um, as always, this is the intro portion where we hang out and we hope that more people decide to join us. I don't know if they will. I will be honest with y'all. It has been light the past, I would say, since last Saturday. The last few streams have been a little on the light side as far as active viewership. Got plenty of people watching on VODs, and people watching after the fact on YouTube, which I appreciate. But not a lot of, sorry, apologies, not a lot of butts in the seats during the live stream, which is I wish more people were watching. I'll be honest. I love that you are watching. If you're watching right now, if you're watching this on the VOD later, you're watching this on YouTube, you're in the chat right now in the beginning since the start. I appreciate you very much and thank you for being here. But yeah, I am a bit hopeful that my appearance tomorrow on Kathleen's Island tour as part of the Loading Ready Run network of stuff, that a few people that are going to watch that might suddenly decide, like, oh, I'll check out Pat Baer on another night and watch him do a build stream. Of course, they do stream while we're streaming on Monday and on Thursday and not all, but some Saturdays. So, uh, you know, but not everybody watches every stream. Maybe So I don't know. I hope a few more people decide to join me for that. Also, we are coming up on when I would get a bit of a bump by doing a PAX. PAX usually leads to a little bit of bump, as even just referencing the Twitch lends a few people to follow it. If I do a live stream, or I'll get a little bump here and there. Those are generally pretty cool, but if they don't come, they don't come. If this is a quiet little easy stream, that's okay. Um, uh, I always say, like, this allows me to give more attention to the folks that are here. So if you feel like jumping into the chat at any point, feel free. Let me know what you're up to, what you're interested in. If you got any questions about anything we do? I'm gonna start with this Lego set in a moment. But yeah, tonight got anime talk in the second hour, of course, but also food talk. Talking about this grilling, working on well, basically. prep for a London broil, but then not broiling it, instead grilling it. Very good. Um, as well as some other thoughts about some things I might try to do in the future. Gonna get some Chinese food tomorrow. Excited about that. Yeah, some food talk. I want to talk about video games, stuff that's coming out. Because having things to look forward to is great. So that is a thing that we can chat about. And then, like I said, hopefully a few folks decide to join us. And if they don't, that's okay. Um, and I'm going to tweet out Saturday night is Lego night. Let's go. Retweet my tweet, which is always good. Kind of just remind people, hey, this is the thing we're doing. So yeah, so we got a car here. This is a 3-in-1. So we will finish up our car. We're going to work on, I believe, the front fender right now. Now, feel free to correct me about any mistakes I might make as far as the parts of a car, because I know some things, but I don't know everything when it comes to that. Um, but I always do my best. Let's see. So, I guess we'll start with food stuff. I'll start talking about food stuff. Yeah. So, parents have a grill, and a charcoal chimney, which we're not using right now, but I'm gonna show my dad the ropes of using the old charcoal chimney. Highly recommended if you're going to be grilling and using charcoal, of course. You don't need a charcoal chimney if you are using propane, but that's a different kind of thing and a different skill. A skill I don't have a lot of experience with propane. When I last lived with my folks in Connecticut, they had a propane grill, but my dad did all the grilling. I hadn't done any grilling, so I have no experience with it. But I'm interested. Charcoal, plenty of experience working with, small grills, big grills, and all that. But yeah, so basically, you marinate your meat like you're gonna do a London broil, but instead of doing it in the broiler, you just put it on the old grill, and it came out great. There's photos on my Twitter, and it tastes really good. Um, really really strong marinade, very flavorful. Little the tiniest of pink, not even red, mostly pink in the center. Nice char on the outside. Uh, Maybe could have sat for another minute or two, but sometimes you're just hungry. You want to go with it. Baked potato, salad, oof, very good. Uh, the number one thing I can say is, despite all of the awfulness of the idea that I am just with like not much of my stuff and I'm in a strange town in a strange state and feel very isolated from my friend groups and my career and everything, I'm eating well. I'll say that. I'm eating very well. So at least there's that. But yeah, there's stuff I want to experiment. Hey, Epic Open World, welcome, welcome. We're having a kind of a chill Saturday here right now. Hopefully, a few more folks decide to join us. But if it's a light night, it's a light night, and that's going to be okay. But yeah, just talking about food, doing a little grilling. Excited about that. But yeah, I've been wanting to do. I have access to a good kitchen, and I had, outside of like some meal prep, I'm not really taking as much advantage of it as I would like. So I'd like to get in there and do a little bit more in the old kitchen, if at all possible, because I think it would be fun. It's a thing I like doing. It's also, I think I talked about this on Thursday, like not doing a lot of meal prep, or if I am doing like my lunch, I'm generally having lunch with my folks, and so I'm not like listening to podcasts while I do it, which was the thing that I did often. Was when I was cooking a lot, I was listening to podcasts or meal prep for the week or whatever. Like that is an avenue that I have extinguished, and it's a weird thing. Um, but yeah, overall, I'm enjoying the food stuff. There's a Chinese place that's pretty good. We're getting Chinese tomorrow. Excited about that. Uh, I'll eat late because my folks like to have dinner at 5 p.m., which is about 2 hours before I usually do. Choose your parents, the giant bombcast. Yeah. Um, I I Yeah, that has been the oddest thing, is just kind of getting used to that. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here in the chat. We got a bunch of great regulars here tonight. Always happy to have y'all in here. Um, but yeah, no, that is a thing that I am attempting to get like definitely more used to, is like eating at 5 p.m. means well, okay, so one thing it does mean is, right, eating at 5 p.m. means that I have time after dinner before my stream starts, right? I often would have stuff set up, then I eat dinner, watch like the last anime show that I had to, or that I wanted to cover if there was something that I missed. Like, if there's a bunch of shows that came out and I had stuff going on, I couldn't get to all of them before the stream started, I could catch up. But then I would basically go from dinner to prep to stream. And now I have time. I have time to do other things. I can relax some. I can decompress some if I need to before I get in there. So there are positives to uh, suddenly having a lot of time. It does mean that like there are podcasts like that are recorded in front of an streams. There are shows that I normally would watch that I can't because they go past 5 or I'm done. Or like tomorrow, I am going to be, as I mentioned, on a stream on Loading Ready Run. I will be hanging out with them, and that stream is from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern. It's noon Pacific starts. So I'm gonna like be late for dinner because I'll be on a stream, and it's like saying like, oh, I'm gonna be late for dinner, and they're like, 6? What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be late for my 6 p.m. And that's just how it is. So we're getting Chinese food tomorrow, and so I'm gonna get something that microwaves well because I'll be eating later. Um, but I wasn't gonna say like, well, don't. I won't order Chinese food. I'm going to get Chinese food. Um, we're not a yeah. So it's like the opportunity arises. I'm going to take advantage of it, and I think it'll be fun. But yeah, it's just kind of get used to that stuff. Used to the schedule. Um, getting things done when things need to get done. You mentioned Epic. You mentioned introducing the Giant Bombcast. Well, that's been a big thing. I watched I watched the Bombcast, the Beastcast, and the Hotspot live. And I used to never watch any of them live. Occasionally, I would maybe watch. Obviously, it's not since the pandemic that one of those shows existed, and one of those shows they started recording in front of an audience. But the Bombcast, I wouldn't ever watch it on a Tuesday. I would just listen to it because I like the Bombcast as a podcast. Uh, so, and it was like a regular part of my podcast rotation. Now I'm dropping podcasts because I don't have time to listen to all of them. And if I haven't listened to like 3 of them in a row, then I drop them because to me that's like, well, I'm not listening to these. So I'm going to let this go. Um, but that was not always the case in the past. I would like kind of savor it. And now it's like, nope, we're good. And there was like a show that I used to listen to like more than once because it was really dense with jokes. Now it's like, nope, I listened to it once because I'm never gonna listen to it again. You're lucky if I get through it. That's just that's kind of the way it is right now. I think I learned on the hotspot this week how to shuck a hard drive. Yes, Epic Open World. That is, I have learned that as well. Uh, I also have I don't have it here because it was like a thing where I was like, this is not a piece of technology I need to bring with me, but I used to I have in my possession in New York um, a an adapter for SATA and a bunch of other style hard drives to hook up to USB. And you have to power it, and then you can plug in. So that is to take like uh, on hard drives that don't have any enclosures in them, um, uh, and or that you don't have like room or whatever. If you want to access that information, like if you suddenly let's say you have a laptop and it dies, or you have you have an external hard drive and the power on it dies. So you can rip out the drive inside, put it in this enclosure, and then transfer your files. Uh, um, and it works pretty dang good for that. I don't have like a server. I don't actually have I don't have an external hard drive with me right now. I just have the half gig SSD, and then an old 2 terabyte drive from a previous computer that sometimes has to like wake up because I just store stuff on it. I don't have it like it basically only wakes up when it needs to do a backup or when I'm transferring files over there or games if I want to save it and don't want to delete it but don't want it on my SSD. Uh, all right, well, we're done with the first thing. We had started this, we didn't do this all in this last 20 minutes. We started this on Thursday, so don't get it twisted. We're done with one, but it's not, this wasn't like the fastest build. We started it, as I said, on Thursday. Honestly, I'm not sure what Brad is doing with all the server space. Is he thinking with CIA agent? Well, so some of it is that they have to upload a lot, and you know, at the Giant Bomb East and West offices, they would have 2 copies of things. They would have like, and they were starting to save things now at like 4K, but they would save HD stuff even when they weren't putting HD stuff on YouTube. So they were saving things multiple times to have redundancies of all the videos. So some people are not keeping locals. It sounds like they're just uploading it, and then the Giant Bomb, servers and Amazon service space is keeping that. But some people, I think, are archiving themselves for work. Eventually, with the idea that then they'll just, when they can be back in an office, bring in a couple hard drives, transfer that data over. But also, I think let's be real about this. I think Brad Shoemaker is just inventing things for him to do to keep himself occupied. I think Brad is just like coming up with tech things to do. He has a tech podcast. Uh, Brad's setting up all of those servers he has to do at some point, but never gets around to, like Quake servers. Yes, but also like, hey, Brad won't say this. Brad has a tech podcast. He says sometimes, well, I talked about this on another podcast, or I heard about this on another podcast. I don't know. I assume they can't talk about it. I assume that's why Dan never mentioned his podcast with his wife on Giant Bomb. I think that's why Brad doesn't mention it. I assume they just can't. Um, but Brad has a tech podcast with Will Smith, and you should listen to it because it's very fun. I like Will a lot. I like Brad a lot. All right, we got a photo of this. Now we're going to disassemble and then build a plane. Got a plane over here. But yeah, I think Brad is just trying to occupy himself with stuff that he wants to do. And some people learn by doing. I think it was mentioned. The tech podcast is real good. To be honest, I only understand half what they're talking about. Yeah, I like the history of it, right? Sometimes they talk news stuff, and it is in a way that I can understand, and I appreciate that. But yeah, sometimes they talk about some real technical stuff in their tech podcast. That's weird, right? They get technical in their tech. They get really granular in a way that I'm like, okay, well, that's it. Like, I want to hear about what you're doing with this mister. I want to hear about this, but I also know I'm never going to get one. Well, it's not a thing that I would want. But I'm excited that they're excited. That is generally why I listen to enthusiast podcasts, because I like enthusiasm. I said enthusiasm. That's not the right thing. Enthusiasm. I like when people like things. I also like when people are critical of the things that they like, because I can appreciate it. Sometimes people are like, hey, if you're so upset about this thing, why don't you do this instead? And it's like, no, you don't understand. I still like the thing, but I am not going to pretend like it doesn't have problems. Like I think that we talked about wrestling, right? AEW he has some really great talent, but I think that their desire to only have former wrestlers who are now retired and as writers, and current wrestlers who were at the top of the company as their writing team, and not hire writers, limits them quite a bit, including because they don't have anyone in those positions who identify as female. then their division suffers. And you can only advocate so much without having someone who says, this is what we should be doing. Um, and I think that, and yeah, and then also like the idea of like, this thing of like, oh, writers are the problem. It's like, nah, the problem with WWE isn't writers. The problem with WWE is that the writers don't have final say or any say. That's the problem with WWE. You can bring in people that don't know the ins and outs. They don't know what a leg lock is, but they do know what storytelling is, and they do know what pacing is, and they do know like where things can go and what things need to happen. And also, a lot of times writers know, hey, look, I don't know the history of this or that, but I do know that what we're doing right now sucks. And just because it worked 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago doesn't mean that. The problem is they hired Dan Reichert, or they're not letting Dan write the scripts. Not sure which one. So Epic, I mean, obviously, we're joking. Dan is in the podcasting world. Part of that, he's not a writer for there. But also like, yeah, I mean that's not Dan can craft a story. He would definitely need to be wrangled because he doesn't really have limiters or tap into his own limiters. But no, the problem with WWE is Vince McMahon. Its big success is also its biggest failure because he'll just rip up scripts and you can't plan things out. Also, a big thing with WWE and WCW was better about long-term storytelling and picking things up. The thing with WWE is they will do a thing and then maybe justify it. But they don't justify why they're going to do something, they just do it. Like, we want to do something different on Monday night. Let's try this under Raw Underground. There is no plan for Raw Underground. There might be a belt at some point. There might be a reason to do it. Why is Shane McMahon in charge of it? Is Shane McMahon in charge of it? Why are these people doing it? What's going on with this? There's a bunch of whys. But the answers to all those questions is they just thought that they want to do something. They want to stir things up. I've seen commercials for the big AEW event coming up. It seems more interesting than WWE as not a wrestling fan. Hey, look, AEW is doing some interesting things, but also AEW suffers from AEW wants to be the next WCW, but WCW is only known for having one very cool thing, and then a bunch of they had a bunch of other things, but they're not known for those very cool things. They're known for like a few little things. Also, that's a company that lost for a lot of reasons. Chiefly, they just, spent a lot of money on a lot of people that didn't have their best interest in mind. AEW has a lot of issues. As I said, particularly its women's division. But generally, that's the thing, right? And obviously, live stuff, injuries happen, people quit or are laid off, plans change. I'm not saying the plans don't change, but let's talk about this, right? So, the idea of a hacker character is pitched, right? There's going to be a hacker. Someone is hacking, and it's a noble hacker. And you're saying to yourself, isn't that a character, isn't that a thing that was already done in NXT and they dropped it? Yes, it is. But they're going to do it on SmackDown. Okay, so we're going to have these vignettes, and it's going to be these things, right? And you're like, cool. So they know who it's going to be and what their goal is, and they have ideas for that, and they're going to who the first feud is going to be and what it's going to be against. No, they don't have any of that. They have the idea of a hacker character and some vignettes. And then they're like, well, we have this hacker character. We can tie it into this other storyline beat that happens, right? Yeah, we'll tie it in this other storyline beat. And that'll be a good reveal for that. Cool. So are they going to pay that off? Are they going to mention it again? No. We just have this idea for a hacker character. Okay. And then they're like, we decided who the hacker character is. We're going to reveal who this hacker character is. And change their gimmick, and it's going to be great. Okay. We moved that person from SmackDown to Raw. Cool. So you're going to give the gimmick to somebody else? No. Are you going to move the gimmick to Raw with them? No. You're going to drop the gimmick and pretend it never happened and never talk about it again. Yes. Why would you do that? You spent this time building this thing. Yeah, but we have a bunch of other things we can build. What? Why? I don't know. We thought that. Um, the WWE has had times where they had a video package for a returning superstar, and then they decided who the superstar was that they was returning with the package because there were a couple that were returning around the same time. They didn't build a thing. They just do things. They make moves. They make decisions. Um, it is there's a storyline happening right now where a bunch of masked individuals are coming in and taking retribution. They're looking for retribution. They're coming in and they're doing a bunch of stuff. And you're saying to yourself, a bunch of masked wrestlers. Oh yeah, that's Akira Torizawa's gimmick, right? Where he has a bunch of ninjas, but they're clearly not ninjas. They're just some wrestlers in ninja gear, and he's invading with his army of ninjas. And you're like, no, not that. Oh, in fact, actually, let's cancel that. Really? We're just going to cancel this ninja bit because you have this other bit? Yeah, it conflicts with this other bit we're doing. So why are you doing this other bit instead of doing that bit? No, we're doing this thing. Okay, cool. Well, who are the wrestlers involved in it? Oh, we have a bunch of people that are doing. Cool. When are you going to reveal who they are? Oh, we don't know. Oh, cool. What's their end goal? We don't know. We're just doing it. They just do things. And then if it catches on, okay. And if it doesn't, that's fine. They just won't ever talk about it again. Vince thought people chanting Rusev Day was making fun of Rusev, even though it's... Well, Lashbrook, I mean, that's the thing, right? So if you believe Mero, formerly Rusev of the WWE, he was he was a heel. He had a voice. For some reason, he had a friend who was a ring announcer for him, even though he had a great manager and also can talk and go. Didn't need Aiden English, but gave Aiden English something to do, which is nice. Good for Aiden English. So they do things where they're like, okay, well, cool. So we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and we're gonna whatever. And announce that today is Rusev Day. That's gonna be fun. Cool. Oh, weird. The audience is into it. And then the thing is, they didn't want him to be face. They didn't want him to be funny and charming and interesting. They wanted him to be a big bruiser from a foreign country so that Americans could cheer for him when Americans win. Even though sometimes those Americans are Canadian, whatever, who cares? They didn't want that. They didn't want face Rusev. They didn't want Rusev to succeed in that way, in that particular way that the audience was getting behind, right? So you tell them, oh, they're being sarcastic. They're clearly not. Oh, well, we didn't actually make a lot of that merch. That's why it's sold out, because we didn't make a lot of it. And also, he doesn't know that. He didn't know that because he didn't look at it because Vince McMahon decided this is how it goes. The best and worst thing you can do is get yourself over. See, Epic Open World, the thing about wrestling is that wrestling is, it's still a carny act. Everyone in wrestling are still traveling carnival folk. So yeah, you make a lot. Oh, wrestling has made over the decades, every wrestling company, big or small. Look, imagine having a wrestler who is a masked person wrestling in a Japanese style, but called the Patriot. Ooh, well, you got to support the Patriot. That's just a dude, but you got to support him. Wrestling is full traditionally of that. Now when we think of the Von Erich family, the famous Von Erich family, the famous wrestler took over a territory in Texas, had a bunch of sons, a couple of whom were incredible wrestlers, a couple of whom were okay wrestlers, one of whom never was going to be a good wrestler, but tried his best. But they were good, wholesome, all-American boys, even though their wrestling last name was the Von Erich. It was Von Erich because their dad, who was a good old boy, made his living as a Russian. Uh, Fritz von Erich, the Mad Russian, one of the made his living doing that. That's wrestling, baby. But also, you got to keep the name because the name is famous, even if you are a retired wrestler and just promoting. You got to keep the name out there because the name, people know that name. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, they would rather have that. So that's the I mean that's the thing. Uh, Wrestling, the last WWE wrestler who got himself over is Daniel Bryan, and they fought that tooth and nail. They fought it and fought it and fought it. And when he finally was like, fine, okay, great, I'll do this angle. There's an angle he's doing, right, where he is been taken in by the Wyatt family. And it's an interesting angle. Well, he's kind of getting his teeth into it, and the audience wants him to come back. And they're going to make money on this. When he wakes up or reveals that it's all a fake, they'll make money on this. But people started doing the yes chants at sporting events, and they needed Daniel Bryan to get out of that gimmick. Because if people were going to tune in because they found out, they're like, what is this yes chant? And then they went and watched wrestling, they would see him as a bad guy. So they didn't want to do that. So that's why they stopped a storyline that was working really well. Because other people got into it. Now, not because Daniel Bryan was doing a good job. Daniel Bryan is the last person to get himself over. He didn't try to get himself over. The audience just demanded that he be over, which we do on occasion. The last person to really fight to get himself over and succeed is Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder got himself over, and the company never let him forget that he did that. Even though they sold a shirt with his belt on it, because basically he started a YouTube channel when nobody who was on WWE had a YouTube presence. In fact, they would delete them if they got hired. But he did. He started a thing. It was a mini thing. He had a belt. He was, it was the Internet Championship. Whatever. They would never let him have it on TV. They would never let him incorporate it into his gimmick. But he got over, and people wanted him to succeed and do well. And somebody or some buddies decided this sucks. We didn't make this up. You made this up, so you're not going to be able to do it. We're going to do other things with you. And it never worked because it isn't going to work that way. Because the WWE creates stars. They don't jump on opportunity. They will outside, if you outside do stuff and you're an interesting person on the outside, they want you to come in and do that thing. But they rarely are like, oh, you have this thing and you are pushing it. No. We didn't come up with that. We don't know why the audience likes that. We didn't tell the audience to like you. We told the audience to like this person. We're working very hard for the audience to like this person. It is a frustrating thing. I do want to comment. Lord Crashington brought up. This sounds like League of Heels process, and you actually know. So here's the thing about League of Heels. Now, did everything go according to plan? No. You're talking about people who said they wanted to do something and then decided not to come, right? Because it was event based, right? You can't have you can't fulfill parts of a storyline if somebody doesn't come, right? So Amarise leaves her job and doesn't go, so she's not going to go to PAX East, right? So a match is supposed to happen with her granted her title thing. We start building this program. We start having ideas of what it's going to be. And then Amarise is like, I'm not coming. And you're like, okay, well, now you have to work around it. Or our champion's not going to be at this event. Or our number one contender isn't available in the time we need them. All right, well, then we start working on it. But like that show, because we only planned out at most 1 year, we did 3 shows. 2 years we've done 3 shows because we did South, East, and West, and then 1 year we did East, South, and Australia. So we have done at most 3 shows. And I think I think the year that we went to Unplugged, we didn't do one of the other shows. So we have done at most 3 shows in a year, which allows people to plan things out. Our shows fell apart in the technical aspect because some things weren't done or ready or planned out properly on that timing for issues. They were technical issues. Our storyline stuff, however convoluted, was set up. Now, it's when people decided to go and, yes, the Nintendo 64 didn't want to work. It wasn't set up properly. We're in a thing. We have a technical issue with the system. We told someone in advance, hey, we're going to need aux cables and splitters because we're bringing an N64. We're not going to give you an HDMI and then a 1/4-inch jack for audio. And then that word doesn't get out to people. Hey, we're going to have a laptop and that, so we need to switch. We tell somebody that doesn't make it to the actual people. They got to run out and get stuff. It was a continuous issue on the technical aspect. Someone kicked the USB splitter or the USB thing, and now 2 of the controllers don't work. We ran out of time because a bunch of people went. We gave some promo time, and then a few people, when they showed up, were like, hey, I have this thing I want to do. And you're like, no, we don't have time for it. And then they go and talk to somebody else, and they say, okay, sure, that's funny. And they say yes, and then you have to squeeze that in. And it was a lot of that kind of stuff. See, it was technical hurdles. But, generally, the plots and the storylines were, figured out. We would have to, make some of it work. And like you said, there'd be changes that had to happen because we didn't, somebody got busy, someone wasn't available, somebody was like, hey, I'm not going to conventions anymore, or whatever. We had thoughts and things that we were going to do, and you also plan stuff out with some ideas, and then those ideas change because people were like, actually, I want to do it this way, or I'm not comfortable working with that person, or oh, hey, turns out the person we were going to use for this is a garbage person. Luckily, I'll say this. We've had a lot of people come through our doors, and we've only had, one major garbage person, two major, I want to get these numbers right. 2 major garbage people, 1 annoying asshole, and 1 person that we're like, we don't need to work with them anymore. This will be better off. And that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. And I've only had to go and apologize to 1 person for behaviors of people who were in our crew once, which is pretty nice. And I think that's pretty good. We're doing pretty good considering how many people came through it. No, I'm not talking about Dan. Dan can be infuriating, but he's not an annoying asshole. He can be infuriating to me as a person. On stage, he isn't. The hot dog incident is not low out. Hey, Aristovan, happy to have you here. Yeah, low asshole ratio is always good. Yeah, right? I'll take it when I can get it. No, Dan's hot dog bit is, of course, Dan going in to business for himself. That was a thing where that shouldn't have happened, and it was a bummer. It was very good. The thing I always point out is, have a character and come in and, if you have an idea that you can just do and interact with other people, like a game of party quirks. You got your little thing, you're going to come in, you're going to do your business, then you're gone. If your character is the interesting character in the background of the big story that people are like, wait, what's up with that person? We're going to talk later about an anime I like that's fun right now, a Misfit Demon King Academy, right? Well, there's a bunch of girls that like the main character. They have a crush on him, but also they're Unitarians. One of them's got an eye patch. and she just seems cool. And I know she's not going to be important to the story, but I'm like, what's up with that girl? You start with that, right? And like that was always my thing with League of Heels was come in with that. Pat Gill came out with his like I am a young he comes in a karate gi. I'm a young boy studying karate. And I got dropped off, and we're like, that's not what this is. And he's like, okay, oh, video games, cool. And I'm like, I love this so much. It's so funny. It's so interesting. And people were just like, more of that. The last show, one of the highlights of it was my friend Emmy, who just wore all of her clothes in layers like an onion, and she had an onion. She had an onion child. And I don't know what that was supposed to be or why she did it, but I was like, I love this very much. Thank you for being here in this very strange choice that you're making. This is incredible. That was always my big favorite thing about the shows was people like come in, try something different. Um, it was when people would come in and then like pitch to me like stuff that would involve the main plot. Like okay, and then I want to hit John Drake with a chair, and I'm like one, no, you don't want to do that. You think you want to do that, you actually don't want to do that. And two, nobody knows who you are or what you're up to. Uh, we can't introduce you as a main character in the storyline unless other people in the main characters of the storylines are like, I want to bring in so and so for this bit. So no. Um, turn on the fog machine the moment that almost broke League of Heels before it got off the ground. Yeah, Big Open World. Uh, thank God that I mean, just honest to God. One, we're not the first or the last people. We weren't the first people at that year at that convention to set off those alarms. So that saved us a lot. Also, the fact that PAX people really like the Harmonix folks, and now they like me. But PAX people at the time really liked the Harmonix folks, and that's why we got to continue. John Drake does a good enough job hurting himself. Yeah, no, but I mean that's the thing. Like people wanted like do they want to the folks that there are folks that we invite when we did the show regularly. We'd invite them and they would show up and they would do their thing and they would have fun and that would be it. And then sometimes you'd hear like, "Hey, that was really fun. Do you want to like?" They're like, "Oh, I never heard from you, so I didn't know that you liked it. I had such a good time." You're like, "Yeah, no, no, no. Come and do it again." Like we don't operate enough to be like, always asking the same people over and over again. We do have our favorites, but like, yeah, we do try to rotate people in and out. But like, yeah, if you'd said something, I would have definitely found room for you. It's like, okay. And then we have other people who are like, hey, I really want to do this. And you're like, okay. And sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't know. Because, I always said this. Um, if I'm more well known than you are, you have to be cool as shit and awesome as shit. Uh, that's it. That's the sad, honest truth, right? Because like, some people know who I am, but like, okay, so we never had her, but the creator of Frog Detective. Not a lot of people know Frog Detective, but some people really love it. But like Grace is incredible, so I would love to have Grace because she's made a very cool game and she's a very fun, wonderful weirdo. So of course I would have Grace come in. We're gonna approach people that like have big audiences and big draws. Of course we are. Uh, and then sometimes we will grab some interesting people, or like, oh well, this guy's used to be, this guy's an actual wrestler. He's an indie wrestler, and he's here working a booth, and he has his gear. Do you want him in the Rumble? And I'm like, yeah, fucking of course I do. And then I look up Frisco Flame, and I'm like, Frisco Flame is incredible. Of course. Yeah, this is great. This is not somebody I knew. This isn't somebody that like you don't know. Nobody's ever heard of the games that he's there to pit to like to work the booth for. But like he's awesome. So yeah. Uh, Convention center chairs are definitely not for hitting people with. Yes, Lashbrook. That's the other thing. You don't find folding chairs at a convention center. Also, people say like, "Hey, how do you make chair shots not hurt?" And the answer is you don't. Chair shots hurt a lot. Chair shots just hurt. You just absorb the pain and move on. There is no way to fake a chair shot. The only way to fake a chair shot is not to do the smash someone in the back with it. It's to do the have your hand on the front and the back and swing it into someone's stomach, because then you're actually hitting them with your hand. That's the only way to fake a chair shot, and it doesn't look as good, and people don't love it compared to actually hitting them with a chair. You just hit them with a chair. Uh, uh, like the table slam. Yeah. I only know Grace from Giant Bomb Stream with Abby. I've never heard of Frog Detective before that. She's great, though. Yeah. Epic Open World, Frog Detective, and then the sequel were in my Game of the Year stuff because Abby had mentioned it and I went and played it. But yeah, I mean, I met her. Uh, she's the Giant Bomb stuff. Also, Abby invited her to come on and improvise postmortem, which was really fun. But she's just like, yeah, an interesting person. If we'd had League of Heels shows when she was at a PAX, I would definitely invite her because she's just like a fun, odd person. And then there's sometimes people come in and they're like, hey, I would like to do stuff with you. And I'm like, okay. Does anyone know who you are or what you do? No? All right. That's going to be tough. Because I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. If we have a lot of people, maybe I can make room. If we don't have a lot of people, I don't know. And that's just the way it is. Um, and that was always a bit of a frustrating thing. Um, but we always tried our best with that. Hey, we're talking about games and such. Let's get into it, y'all. I've got 4 video games coming out this year that I am excited to play, and I want to talk about them. The first is coming out very soon. It is the Alan Wake DLC for Control. Now, in theory, I like Alan Wake. In practice, I did not enjoy that. No Epic Open World. I can tell you definitively, no one has ever approached League of Heels in any way, shape, or form. Any company, certainly not a wrestling company, but I'm talking about anyone. We have never been approached by anyone at any time in any way, shape, or form in any sort of sponsorship. Ever. Because we are an event that happens at most 3 times a year at a convention that is already crowded with a lot of stuff, and we have some cool people to come through. Also, it would be very hard to promote. If we did a sponsored show, the number of people we could have involved would really dry up because some of those folks can't do shit like that. Like they can't. Even if even if we had Logitech as a sponsor, right? Or Alienware. Alienware is going to go and lend us a computer so that we can run all our games on this high-end, awesome Alienware laptop, right? Well, somebody's sponsored by Intel, so they can't do the panel anymore and all this other stuff. It would be awesome, but it would be a nightmare. And I am not. So we looked into trying to get people that were outside the gaming space, but we would have that was going to be somebody's job, and no one's job is or should be League of Heels. There was a way to grow that show that neither of us was interested in doing, myself or Aaron, really. But yeah, so no, never. WWE doesn't like things, so like that. That is definitely not a thing that they would have been interested in doing. Because people come to them, they don't go to people. Anyway, Alan Wake DLC. As I said, I like the concept of Alan Wake. I didn't like many Alienware actually sponsoring Phoboshed character would have been amazing. Yes, I mean, look, the idea of that is incredible. It's just not it's not in the cards. And like I said, we would be we were trying to find some deals to make with people who it wasn't going to be an issue. And then also every single person we talk about, we have to say, is that okay? And some people would be like, yes. And some people would be like, no. And I get that. Anyway, I want to talk about that. So we're going to talk about that. I like Alan Wake as a concept. I didn't like the battery elements of it and the charging and the hunting for things. I like Control. The load times certainly were an issue. I didn't have any problems making things happen in that game, or as some people say, like I didn't mind the controls in Control, but I know some people certainly did and had an issue with it. But I'm excited to play that because as I said, I'm interested in this world building and connecting, and that trailer, the footage they showed really hit me, and it's just like an anticipated thing. And more Control is good because I think that game is great. Obviously, I wish that the upgrade path thing was better for people. I think that is a 505 issue more than it is um, uh, an issue with the makers of the game. But I, can't say for certain of that. That's just my feeling on that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then the next game that's coming out that I'm looking forward to is Jackbox Party Pack number 7. We haven't played Jackbox on stream in a while. I'm gonna rectify that, or remedy that, I should say. I'm gonna remedy that soon. We're overdue for a Jackbox stream, so I think we'll get one of those up soon. But I'm excited for new Jackbox. I don't know if I'm gonna like playing the new drawing one. There's a new drawing game that seems really interesting, but it's not the same thing as TKO, and I think you might need to have more talent than like a TKO thing. Uh, I looked at it and I thought it was pretty cool. I should watch a Let's Play. I played Alan Wake, but not American Nightmare. Ooh, American Nightmare is yes, and you're right, Lashbrook. One of the reasons why American Nightmare is great is because it's very contained. It's a self-contained, small story, um, and it's really good. American Nightmare is the best of the Alan Wakes. Yeah, you should try to find a Let's Play if there's people you like that had done one. Definitely recommend that. That is a great game. Uh, okay, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Jackbox is just a thing that I'm excited about. I looked at some of the games; they look fun. I think it'll be cool. Um, and then games that are coming out in December. We're going to move all the way to December for the next 2 games I'm excited about. One we certainly know a bunch about because it came out in Japan. Is Yakuza Like a Dragon or Yakuza 7. That one, certainly excited about. I'm interested. I've watched some footage of some people playing it, some import stuff, and the RPG system looks great. I don't love the tiered thing. I need to know more about it. Like, I don't want to. Basically, there are side missions and jobs that are tied to uh, some of the bonus, like digital, like the more expensive versions, which I think sucks, and I'm not a supporter of or a fan of. Uh, oh, Epic World says I have good news. You don't have to wait till December. It comes out November 10th. Okay, well, great. So it's coming out in November. That is good news. I thought it was a December game, so that is great news. I'm happy to hear that. Uh, that's awesome. Okay, great. So um, the next, so that comes out in December or November. That's great. I'm excited about it. It just looks like goofy fun, and I'm into it. I like modern Yakuza games, um, and I think it'll be a good time. So and then the last one I'm excited about, is coming out in December, is Bug Snacks. Uh, the new main character seems great. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm just excited to break one of it. I thought Judgment was very fucking cool. Judgment was maybe a little longer than I would have liked, but I think Judgment was pretty rad. So I'm excited to see another new character and also this RPG, the new battle system. I'm definitely excited about. Um, and then Bug Snacks. Talking about Bug Snacks, very excited about Bug Snacks. I was already excited about its Viva Pinata-ness, and then finding out it also has some Pokemon Snap-ish qualities. I'm on board. I am so on board. Bring me Bug Snacks. Let me play it. Let me talk about Bug Snacks. Very excited about that game. It just looks cool and weird. I hope it plays well. I think it. So the thing is, like, people were like, um, I'm very excited for all the folks that are excited for Bug Snacks. I hope you stream it, Pat, because I will never play it. Yeah, I can see that. So I know that some people are like, hey, I think Octodad is a great idea, but I hated playing Octodad. And to those people, I say, Octodad wouldn't have worked if it wasn't designed to be weird. It had to be a weird thing. It was a student game turned into a real game, or turned into a full release, not a real game. I don't want to say that. But an element that needed to be there was the element of this is a nonsense thing. I don't think it would have been fun if it wasn't nonsense. But I think this game doesn't need that. So I am excited to find out how it plays and how it controls because I think that it could be fantastic. Um, but I get that. Not every game is for everyone. There are plenty of games out there that I'm like, oh, you're playing that? Cool, enjoy, and I never touch it. Um, I haven't played Fall Guys. I've watched a bunch of Fall Guys. Haven't played any Fall Guys. I don't think I'll ever play any Fall Guys. But I know there are people that are having a real good time with Fall Guys, and I hope you continue to have a real good time with Fall Guys. Um, I have played some of Blazeball. Obviously, we're not right now, but when it first came in, I just started seeing Felix Kramer talking about Blazeball, and I was like, what is Blazeball? And then I looked it up, and I was like, this is too much. I do not want to be in a Discord for a game. That's just my limit. My limit is to play your game. I do not want to be on a Discord or Reddit or anything like that or having to follow certain people. So I'm engaged when it happens, and when it comes back, I will get back on board and I will vote. If my team's doing well and all those other things. Um, I got my 12th win in Fall Guys. Love it. We are getting a Fall Guys talk show. Yes, epic. I think Gary feeling the sense in the wind that people aren't watching a lot of Animal Crossing is expanding, and also I really like the idea of uh, I really love the idea of people the idea that he can do a talk show in any video game. I think that's a smart choice for him long term because Animal Crossing, like, less people are streaming it. People had played a lot of it, and I think they're kind of moving on to other things. Like everyone, and then there are some people that will never stop playing it until there's a new Animal Crossing because they play Animal Crossing every day because it's chores. I kind of hate how competitive people are getting about Fall Guys. I mean, look, is it a silly, charming game? Yeah. Is it a game that's online? Yeah, they're going to be competitive people. I think we're seeing them because people are retweeting. I understand the frustration. I don't get this is a game for people and why are you so good and whatever. It's like that because that's how they have fun. Some people really like being competitive. I know that I would never play that open world pirate game because a big element of that game is making people have less fun. I don't know if like I know that there is some griefing in Fall Guys, but there are just people who are like, I want to get really good at Fall Guys. And I'm like, yeah, get really good at Fall Guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have much of a really problem with that. Talk show inside of a video game, the giant bomb method. Yeah. Well, I pick up a world. I mean, what Gary's doing is a full-fledged talk show in Animal Crossing. If you ever watched any of it, they have a set. They have people doing characters. It's machinima. It's just machinima that's live. And then there are some people who are guests that don't have Animal Crossing, and so they have people as actors puppeteering a Animal Crossing, avatar. It's more than just the Fall Guys talk show. Yeah, in that instance, that is trying to adapt things. And is it just having guests during your Let's Play? Yeah. I mean, it's a way to try to do a conversation in an environment that isn't there. I mean, it isn't much different than any other streamer that has guests on, right? Like when Kate Stark is playing duos or groups and she has friends of hers come in. that is the same thing of what the Fall Guys talk show is going to be. Mostly it's keeping the talk show name in there because that is what Gary, to some people, is known for. He is known for that his big hit of the year is the Animal Crossing talk show. So you keep calling it a talk show because you're expanding the brand. Is it the same thing? No. Is it still like I think I think it's a smart extension. I think it is a smart extension to be like we're going to keep calling it a talk show. This is the new talk show. Uh, we can put in any game we want and have fun with it. Please, 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 please check it out. Yeah, and I think that that is a cool thing. Um, and who knows? It's probably just like while he's waiting to do another season of the show and another line up a bunch of guests and book a bunch of stuff, and then there might be another big game that he wants to do a talk show in. It'll be the Bug Snacks talk show. I don't know. I think it's smart of him to continue to do that. Uh, all right. We are going to take a pause for the cause. If you're new to the stream and you're like, Pat, what does that mean? What is pause for the cause? This is where I talk about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined. You're under no obligation to do any of this. If you would like to, I would love it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you're like, I just want to see you finish and do this Roadster, do the third Lego part of the build. I'm going to get to it. You just got to trust me. I'll get there. I just got to talk about ways people can support the stream, and I'll do that for a little bit. If you're currently a subscriber, you could throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know that you're a subscriber. Appreciate it very much. You can use Cash Money to do that. You can use your Prime Gaming token because you have Amazon Prime. You link it with your Twitch. Suddenly, you have access to one token a month that works just like Cash Money. You have to manually renew that. So if it's time to renew, please consider doing that. Adjective Noun Gaming, who bought this Lego set that I'm building right now, also is top of the list there for gifting subs this month. If you would like to gift a sub, you're more than welcome to do that. Bits and coins are also always appreciated. All of this is optional. None of this is stuff you have to do. As I said, we'll get through this real quick. We'll get back to building. A thing you can do if you'd like is you can join my Patreon. If you're like, Pat, I like what you're doing, $5 a month I can't do right now. I could do $3 a month or $1 a month. Well, I got things. Or, $10 a month, you could join my Patreon. We'll get through this quick. We'll get back to building. Don't you worry about it. So that's another way to support the channel is my Patreon. Also, if you're like, I could do a one-time thing, well, you could do my Coffee, my Streamlabs, or my PayPal, and any money I make through Twitch, through Patreon, through direct donations, just goes into a fund, and then I buy model kits to build. I got a couple model kits in my backlog. If you would like to jump in on that backlog, that would be rad, but you are under no obligation to do that. That is just a cool thing you can do. I have an Amazon wish list. This Lego set was bought off my Amazon wish list. If you buy something on a wish list, it jumps the queue. So I'm going to work on something after this Lego set's done, which will be done tonight. I'm going to build the next thing on there. But the thing after that could be something you buy. I have a couple inexpensive Lego sets, just like this one, in the queue. I've got on my wish list. So Lego sets that are inexpensive, Lego sets that are more expensive, high grade model kits, master grade model kits. A bunch of other random assortments of things. You buy something on that, I get it in the mail, I build it, it jumps the queue, and I thank you very much for your time and energy on that. I appreciate it very much. Anyone that buys anything off my wish list, it's just a rad thing that you do, and I appreciate it so very much. I do have an alternative to that. I have, you could buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. You get the code in your email. You message me on Twitter because my DMs are open. You go, hey, here's this gift card. Buy something from there. So that's an alternative to Amazon. I like to be able to do that. I think USA Gundam Store is a great company, and I appreciate being able to support them. So if you want to buy something, gift card from them, then I'll build it on stream. I don't have a P.O. box or anything like that to have stuff mailed to. That's something that I would like to do when I'm settled after I finally move back to New York. That was something I would like to do, but that is in the future. If you haven't joined my Discord, join my Discord. Oh, also, if you're watching this on YouTube later, hey, thanks for watching this on YouTube. But check it out in the show description, all these links that I'm mentioning. And if you're watching the VOD, we'll click that button over to expand chat because I'm putting it in chat right now on the VOD. And thanks for watching my VODs. So I got that. I got the Discord. You should join that. This week, I put out a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club. If you didn't check that out, check out Pat Baer's Anime Club this week. I'm talking about some YouTubers that I like, people that make content on YouTube about anime. Sometimes it's news and reviews. Sometimes it's there's a guy that does cut content, stuff that you missed that didn't make the anime adaptation for the manga. There's somebody that has a dedicated YouTube channel to One Piece that's really great. So I've got so I talked about some of those sites and things I visit there. And then this week's Baering the List is about Pringles. That's right. Somebody had to break down the best and worst flavors of Pringles, and that someone was me. I honestly, look, I've been doing this series since January. It is now August. I can't believe I didn't do Pringles. I did chips, and at least one Pringles was included in that chips. But the idea that I haven't done just the Pringles one, I was like, oh, I can't believe I haven't done this. Yeah, those are my links. We're going to get back to building, and I'm going to talk about the anime that came out this week in just a moment. But I do need some water, so let me have a little water, and then we'll get back to building. All right. I'm just going to check this thing here and say, okay. I'm going to work on the third build of this 3-in-1. Oh, anime. Talk about anime. Just letting the people know that's what's coming up. Okay, so we finished the plane. We're going to disassemble the plane, and while I disassemble the plane and start the roadster, I can talk to you all about the anime that I watched on Friday and today. So we will start with one of my favorite shows of the season. We're going to talk about Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Of course, Uzaki-chan is her first name is. Oops, I have the wrong list of anime. Sorry, I forgot to update that. Okay, I'm going to put that in the chat now. Here we go. Here is. Let's get to there. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I forgot to update it. Sometimes I forget to update Nightbot. Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out on Funimation. This is a romantic comedy show about some high school students who are they're the last to know that they are interested in one another and possibly dating. But this one starts off. Hana. We see Hana's room, which we rarely see her bedroom, so that's kind of new. We see her bedroom. She gets a call from Shinichi, our main character, and he says, "Please be with you. I need you." I'm gonna cough. So he wants her to meet him tomorrow. Now this sounds like he's planning for a love confession, right? Which seems a little odd because, spoiler alert, it's not a love confession because this is a romantic comedy show. But it is weird because he's usually very particular about that kind of thing. He's usually overly cautious about people misunderstanding things. So it's a little weird that he starts there, but whatever. It's cliche. It happens. He actually wants her to go to a cat cafe with him because he can't go alone. He is grateful, but he didn't realize that he made her heart flutter with that, or maybe it's never talked about if she was going to reject him or not, or if she was going to see what happens, or at least talk that have a conversation about it. So she just kicks him in the shin a lot before they go in, Shinichi gets to pet some cats, and then they have some banter. But she mentions she's got her 20th birthday coming up. But then, because he's like frozen in place to pet the cats and not disturb them, his legs get that pins and needle thing, and she starts like messing with him and fucking around with him. To which they get kicked out of the cat cafe, and she's just like, "Hey, save this play for home." And they're like, "Play? No, no, that's not what we're doing here," which was pretty funny. She says, "I have high hopes for my birthday." Um, and Shinichi is stumped. Anything he envisions, like getting her gifts, he's like, oh no, I don't know what to do." Uh, he imagines a bunch of stuff and her not liking it, and then his boss is basically just like, he wasn't in a lot of this episode, but he was just like, "I'm sure she would like everything you got her. She would probably like casually make fun of you a little bit, but she would be touched to get these things." But whatever. So she, on her birthday, she calls him with a similar line that he used on her, and he doesn't put two and two together. The thing that she wants is for him to pay for drinks at a pub because she's turning 20 and she wants to drink. She's never drank before, but she wants to drink with him. Which, like, she is usually kind of like not always aware, but that's kind of fun. It was a fun idea. But the thing she had high hopes for was how much he was going to spend, which I think is pretty funny. Um, let's see. Okay, so they have a fun time. They're eating and drinking. There is a very funny moment where she is tapping on the keypad because it's that kind of a bar where you get a keypad or like an iPad basically, a tablet, and you're punching the things that you want to order, and then they bring those things, and she's like frantically punching them, and then she says, I wrote this down because I thought it was funny. She says, "Your wallet is already dead." She like tries to do like a deadpan face, which is like, hey, of all the things I was expecting to be in Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, a Fist of the North Star reference was low on that. That is not necessarily uncommon for comedy anime to have Fist of the North Star references, but that was a pleasant surprise. I thought that was pretty cute and pretty fun. Um, let's see. Oh, she gets real drunk, and the trains aren't running, so she ends up sleeping over. And then there's a back and forth, and it's cute. And then she's puking all over the place. And so I've said this before. This show is very cute and very fun, and I like the characters and I like their interactions. They've got a bit of a honeymooners kind of vibe to them that I think is very fun. Where this show breaks down is everything that feels cliche is 1,000% cliche, and is too goddamn cliche and just too much. I dropped a Lego piece. I'm gonna look for it in a second. It's just like they've only been clever, I think, once. They did a thing where he like there was a bit of them on the subway, and it looked like he was gonna like she was pressed against him, and he like forced himself to black out so he wasn't thinking about it, and he like zoned out. And I thought that was kind of inventive. And that's it. That's the only inventive spot. I'm getting up right now, y'all. Hold on. I dropped it. There it is. I found it. I found it. I found it. Um, uh, there's only one spot that was ever inventive. Everything else is very cliche. It's a good show. It's funny. I like it. The supporting cast I think is really great. But overall, I'm like, come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Like, be a little more clever. It is not a clever show. It is a fun show, but it's not a clever show. Anyway, let's talk about. Okay, whew, I was sweating this one here, y'all. Let's see. We're gonna talk about Food Wars. I am going to preface this with this statement as we start the roadster. I am by no means an expert when it comes to accurate or reasonable portrayals of transgendered people. So, what I'm saying here, if I am wrong and I'm told I am wrong, okay. And I respect that and I will attempt to be more open-minded and learn. I don't think that Food Wars' portrayal of a bunch of trans girls was bad. It was stereotypical, but it wasn't hateful in a way that anime often fucking is, man. Often so, it's just so awful. Like, okay, so basically what happens is, uh, one of the supporting characters, Aldini, is going to be in a team battle against the Noir member, the guy that looks like a bartender. I forget his name. I just kept calling him the bartender guy. Uh, and the bartender has support. His team is a ton of ladies who are clearly trans ladies. And they call him Mama. And then it is pretty revealed that he is interested in men. And they talk and they hang out. But there's no point. Most people are just like shocked because they're just loud. Here's the thing: they're annoying. They are, because he is also annoying, and they are backing up him. He is fucking. They let this dude talk almost the entire episode, and he just talks shit so much. Most of the time, these chefs are just like, "Ha, top this," but he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do without your brother? Oh, what are you gonna do here? Oh, do you think you're so bad? Oh, do you think you can compete with what I do? Oh, is this a real like?" This dude doesn't stop talking, and his support network is there, and they're doing their thing, and they're loud. Um, well, here's the thing. So, um, the supporters of his, he says, "Oh, I didn't ask them to do that, but they love me so much they did it." There's some supporters of his that have basically kidnapped Aldini's brother, um, uh, and so we're not going to be able to have that. Now, the Selma shows up to be the backup and be supportive. And of course, there's back and forth. Bookmaster agrees to let the substitution happen. Aldini and Soma argue while they're working together, and we flash back into the time we didn't see in the anime where they've had back and forth competitions, and in fact, Aldini has won some, but they've always traded wins and losses back and forth because the other one would get excited and they've had a bunch of battles, and of course their respect has grown, and they've worked together before. So they win, because of course they fucking did. Um, uh, and Isami, the younger brother, is rescued. Thanks to the martial artists at the Chinese cuisine club, come in and kick some ass, which is fun-ish. So the bartender loses, and he gives his shaker, his special shaker, to Sahi, to the villain, because of course he does. But that doesn't. Whatever, that guy didn't have a lot to do in this episode, and that's fine. And we hear a little bit more of the bookmaster, this person that has let these noir people in, that added the rule that the winner will be her personal chef. And all this stuff. Well, we find out what's going on with. She basically says like, "I don't think that arena, that the God tongue is so important," and so she doesn't think it belongs in there, which is why she's had to fight. The losers of every round have been able to challenge like battle royale style, and she's being worn down, but she keeps winning. And the crew, the people we like, find this out. As I said, not a lot in this episode happened because most of this episode was the bartender just making the most of the episode. His only appearance in the like major appearance in the series, one would assume. It was just a lot of this dude fucking talking and talking trash and then getting defeated. So I'm gonna put you. Here's the thing. If you've read the manga or if you've looked up spoilers, please do not write them in chat. Please do not tweet at me spoilers. But I'm going to make a prediction. I jokingly made this prediction before, but now I think it is actual and true because they are being mysterious because the bookkeeper the person to organize this whole thing, has not announced who she is and what her relationship is to people. And generally, if it's not a mystery, it's because they want to tell us who they are. Um, uh, and we haven't heard that. And she's kind of hid her identity, and she has it out for Erina, which means that that's her mom, because her mom has never been talked about too much. She's in the opening, uh, but you know we you know we know that Soma's mom passed away, but we've never heard about what happened with Erina's like mom. And I think it's just that she's running this tournament, and she doesn't think the God tongue is that great because that would be acknowledging her daughter. And for whatever reason, she doesn't want to acknowledge her daughter. I don't know why she didn't help her grandpa when her husband decided to try to take it over, or her father, I should say. Who knows? But I think that's her mom. And it's going to be very funny when somebody wins the whole thing. And I don't know, maybe it's Soma. And then he's just like, no, I don't want to make food for you. No thanks. And just leaves. I assume. He's like, nah, I'm going to go back to school and finish up. I don't want to do that. That is my assumption. That is me predicting what I believe is the end of the series. But who knows? Megumi's going to be in the next episode. I'm excited about that because she's my favorite character in the whole dang thing. So I'm looking forward to her having fun in that show. And hopefully, continuing. I mean, she'll lose at some point because people got to lose, but I'd like her to get a big victory in there. She's a great character. Okay. Okay. So, Fire Force Season 2. I wrote in my notes here because I've been taking notes lately. I wish we could have skipped the Inca storyline and just started the season with this portion. The second half of this season has been so much more interesting and enjoyable than the first half. The trying to look, I like the fight, a couple of the fights, but the whole like trying to save the girl who does not want to be saved and unlocks her ability and is gonna mess everything up and is mentally unstable because of her trauma is not something I have any real interest in. But the second half, where they're going to the Forgotten Continent, and they're investigating what's going on. There's a bunch of wild shit happens. There's this oasis in the forest. There is the tabernacle, which is a miniature version of the giant thing that powers the world after, or Japan at least, after the events of the Great Catalyst. So Shinra hears a voice that wants him to protect the forest. And Scop, the mole that can talk, says that the tabernacle was there before the Great Cataclysm and was fixed. Cataclysm, I should say, not catalyst. Cataclysm. Was fixed by a human-looking woman that is definitely. I don't think it's the first pillar, but it's like that kind of vibe. It is somebody that like of that kind of whatever. Because it didn't seem to be messed up. So that's the person that extended the life of the animals with her flame, and that's why they could. That's why they can talk, and also they've been around that long. So that's why some animals can talk, is because they were gifted the ability to talk by this mysterious woman who then restarted the tabernacle and then left. Anyway, they're attacked by infernals that can talk, which they've only met one infernal that could talk before, and that was a demon. So the fact that these, trapped souls, these souls that have been there since the Cataclysm, that were never defeated, they say that the tabernacle is a weapon, which just means they can use it as a weapon, I assume. Who knows? Maybe it was originally designed to be a weapon. We don't know. We meet Tempe, who is the head of the Infernals and is clearly a demon, but he can talk, and he remembers who he was, or at least some element of that. But he can't be killed. He's undead, but he can't be defeated. by normal means, and so he wants to die and go to heaven and take a bunch of people with him, but obviously he's unbalanced because whatever and blah blah blah. It's bad news, and he wants to blow up basically the whole forest to do that, and they're like, no. Uh, Shinra gets connected to the person in the voice he heard. We don't know what that means, but he's gonna have to fight a demon, and that's not something that he can just do on his own or anyone he's with. It's gonna take a lot to do that. It is pretty unlikely, but maybe he will be able to do it. Also, inside there are these tablets, and it turns out the tablets are a bunch are text. They're a bunch of numbers that translate to text, and Arthur can read them, and I don't know why, but like I said, um, I like this episode way better. I mean, look, talking animals, talking mole, talking crow. Hell yeah, I'm in for that. Uh, in like interesting stuff in the lore with these infernals that can like communicate, which is an odd thing. Yeah, cool. All right. Uh, a couple, at least a couple characters we haven't really. Oh, there's a moment there where like they got the jump on the weakest member of the team and saved by the whistle guy Pan. He has basically he has like buffs. His whistle and then like his I don't understand how his power works that way, but he can like defense buff people and power them up. That's his ability, which is pretty neat. Uh, is a very specific but cool power. That's cool. Yeah, I am definitely more interested in this second half of Fire Force than I was in the first half, and to see where things go. Um, all right, now I'm gonna talk now a lot about uh, today's episode of um, the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Now, I should start by saying I was wrong. I thought for sure something bad was going to happen to a character because we haven't seen her in 2 episodes. In the end, we find out it's not bad. Anyway, there's a magic tournament. Some people have conspired against him. We're not sure who is doing the conspiracy. We know there's a higher authority that is kind of trying to take him down. We don't know necessarily all the specifics of that and who is necessarily behind it. Um, so Leia and Anos are in the finals, um, and they each get a bracelet. And so the idea of this tournament was, if your demon sword, your magical sword, is broken, you lose. That's one way to lose. But also, if the bracelet is destroyed, you lose. But here's the trick. An owl informs Anos that if his bracelet is draining his magic power, and if it's broken, then Lei's mom will die. And if Lei loses, his source will be destroyed due to the contract that he made. So, people can be revived in like as many times as they can, as long as they have the magic to do it, or someone brings them back to life. People can be restored. That is a thing in this world, but everyone has a source. I guess you could call it a soul, but everyone's got a source. And if you destroy the source, you can kill them. But sometimes you can fuse sources, or you can do whatever. So it turns out that a lot of his underlings have been killed and then brought back and are under their sources have been taken over, except one of them, who has been his ally, but isn't his ally anymore because it's not that. Uh, it is Melheis, the guy that they thought was had been taken over, but hasn't been taken over. Um, so that's good. We that's not good because now he's the villain, but so he's been taken over in some way. Um, uh, Anos calls Lei his friend. Anos loses his arm as he stabs Lei, and it looks like he killed Lei. Turns out he didn't kill Lei. He voided the contract. He removed the contract magic around him. And then Milhouse has Lei's mother and proposes a trade, and they decline. So Anna basically it's like, well, I drained your power, and I have all these abilities. There's some stuff going on there with that and dimension portals and stuff. And it's a lot of stuff that's like, I don't need to tell you about these dimensional portal powers this dude has. We don't know why he's doing this, but whatever. Um, but so the basic thing is that like Lei's in trouble because his sword got destroyed. But it turns out, so his mom is half spirit and half demon, or half human. Well, spirits, you can't revive spirits normally. You have to know their rumors and traditions, and then you can strengthen the rumors and traditions they have. And if you do that, then you can revive them. That's the thing we learned last week. She doesn't know what her traditions are. She didn't meet her spiritual ancestor, so she doesn't know what those traditions are. But it turns out she's awoken to the fact that her ability is the tradition of the spirits become a great sword. So she becomes a great sword, sacrificing herself so that Lei can use it to cut through some stuff, and it's great. That gives Anos enough time to basically heal up. So the thing was that, like, they were like, well, half your magic was taken by this. Well, that triggered him reviving all of his magic because apparently when you are reincarnated, you don't get all your magic back. And they just assumed that he got all his magic back, but he hadn't. He'd only gotten a portion. Now he has a lot more of it back, no problem. Makes his big sword, no problem at all. He destroys the thing that's controlling Melheis and restores the sources of two other emperors. We saw them; they were guys with swords that we assumed were against him. But yeah, he removes those, so he's going to have command. He now has 4 of the 8 emperors back on his side, eventually. So then Anos makes a speech about the sword his dad made, which is about how like it's different than demon power. There is a power in this, is the power of a fine craftsman. There are many swords out there that have a tradition of being powerful and blah blah blah. And he says this, and it's broadcast to a lot of people. And so he creates rumor and tradition, because once he learned that which allows him to bring back Lei's mom, who is his adopted mother. But he's able to bring her back, and all's well that ends well. And then he wins the tournament. He is presented with a sword from Sasha, who we haven't seen in a couple episodes, but part of her duty is to present the winner with this, and she only agreed to it because she knew that he was going to win. So she gives him a chaste kiss, and the fan club is all shocked. And I guess that explains her absence, although I assume also that something else is going to happen because one of those girls is going to get kidnapped again. There's a brief moment where we think the villain of this thing shows up, and we'll see what happens there. I don't know who that is. I don't know. We haven't figured this out. So one thought I had is Lei has been perceived to be the reincarnation of his sword-wielding servant, but I'm wondering if that guy didn't die and it's him doing all this, and the guy that did die is actually the reincarnation of the human that he fought with but then befriended at the end. But also maybe that's the guy that is doing all this. It's totally possible. I don't know. But I think that twist is way better than that Lei isn't who he thinks it is, or he said he thinks it is. But I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to be more clever than this anime is. Anyway, those are the 4 shows I watched since Thursday. I think if you want to pick up an action show, Misfit, a Demon King Academy is a fun action show. It is a overpowered main character story, but it is doing things that overpowered main character stories don't often do, which is it's focusing a lot on the minor characters and their plight. And this episode also featured Anos having a moment where he didn't think he was going to win. If he may have had another method if Lei's mom didn't unexpectedly become a magical sword for him to use, but he definitely didn't see that coming, and it was interesting. It was the first time that he was ever like wondering what was next. like I think if he could have delayed it, he was going to get his powers back, but or enough of his power back. But yeah, there was a moment where it looked like he was worried, and that is new. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. We're gonna keep working on this set here. Uh, we were talking before before the break and before I started talking about anime about video game stuff. Let me know in the chat if you have any games coming out that you're excited about. I would love to hear what you are looking forward to this year. Obviously, everything, not everything, but a lot of things are in question because it's just a weird time, and who knows. But but hopefully, everything that we want to see will come out, or we want to play will come out. But yeah, if there's a game that you're excited about, you want to tell me, oh well, Pat, I'm going to be playing this. Let me know. I always like to hear from people. If you got something that you're can't wait to play. I think I said the things. I might play. Rogue Legacy 2. I liked Rogue Legacy just fine. I am somewhat interested in Rogue Legacy 2. I don't know if some of the humor is going to hold up from the first game, if it's just another version of that. But I did like the game, so I'll definitely consider that. Yeah, I think that's going to be fun. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else, but yeah, if you got anything that you're going to be playing this the rest of this year that you're like, oh yeah, well my game is this and it's coming out this time. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Got Tony Hawk 1-2 pre-ordered. Heck yeah, Lord Crashington. Yeah. I've never been a big Tony Hawk person. That's just not my it's not my style. It's not necessarily what I'm into, but it is but I hear very good things about this. I'll be probably watching some people stream it. But yeah, I've just never been a Tony Hawk player. That spiritual successor style Jet Set Radio thing, I'm certainly going to keep an eye on because that seems neat. I got that on the wish list, so I can find out more about that when that comes out because that does seem cool. But yeah, really looking forward to a version of MS Flight AIM that works on my computer. Oh, Flight Sim. I don't know why I read that in. Oh yeah. I am. I am just. I know that is not coming out. That's not going to work on my system. I just know that is not going to be a thing that I get to play, and I think that's okay. I think it's all right. You don't have to. I don't have to play everything. I would like to, but I think it's okay that is not going to be something that I'm going to be able to do because my computer. There's no way my computer can handle it. All right, I'm going to break this box down here. So we have finished this. I'm going to take a photo. Obviously, this kit had a bunch of pieces left over. I'm going to move those aside. Those are going to go into a box that eventually I will send out for people to, clean them, process them, and then donate them. But yeah, I'm going to donate those phones. This Roadster was a cute little one. It's most of the pieces. But yeah, we finished up this Lego set. So we'll do that. But yeah, I've kind of gotten, the understanding, like I am aware I am not going to be able to play flight. Also, I'm not a big Sims guy, or a simulator guy. Sims. I like the Sims, but I'm not a big simulator guy. It's just not my style. Okay. So, we're just going to go ahead and break this down. I'm not going to start my next kit because we only have like 10 minutes left on the stream. So the Defiant, we're going to have to wait. Y'all are going to have to wait for the Defiant till Monday, but get hyped for Monday when I build a kit that is going to be I'll give you the preview here. The big bummer of this kit is that it wants you to paint it, which I'm not going to do. So this is the big bummer with this kit, is the color. Now it also comes with a whole lot of water transfers. So I will be doing some of these. I don't know how many of these water transfers I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to do like the Defiant. And I'm definitely going to do like the NX 74205. But yeah, there's a whole. This booklet is pretty short. Um, I'm mostly a space sim person, but I kind of want to take flights to places I've been and such. I understand, Lashbrook. I get that. That seems cool. Um, but yeah, so basically they're like, here's where all the decals go. If you want to do that, and also, hey, if you wanted to paint it, here's the colors you should paint. You should paint it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna paint, but I am gonna like try to put some of these decals on here. Uh, I will admit my blade is a little dull, but hopefully it should be all right. But anyway, yeah, this is not going to be a complicated build. This will be a Monday only build, and then I will be able to. I probably finish it sometime Monday and do some decals on Monday, and then maybe do some of those on Thursday. But yeah, I figure for the rest of the stream, I'm just gonna disassemble this kit so that I can go into my box of Lego pieces. We'll just finish it off like that. But yeah, I've got that, and then I got one other kit. My backlog. I'm gonna have to buy more. I do have, pre-order stuff. I do have two kits coming in September, but I don't know when in September they're gonna come because they just said September. That is what are those kits? Oh, that is the Master Grade 100 Gundam Death Scythe and the Real Grade 144 Tall Geese 2. And that Death Scythe is the Rusette unit. So it is the kind of more like Gundam wing style wings. Uh, and I'm excited to build that. Or, but don't have that right now. Don't know when they're going to come. Do you ever go back to your old kits and touch them up? I imagine you got a ton now. So, not really. One thing I did do was when I first started building, a long time ago, when I first got into building, I wasn't doing any stickers. Not even like transfers at all, but I mean regular stickers. So I did go back to some of my favorites that I had kept because I gave away a lot of kits over the years, I've given away a ton of model kits. So I would occasionally go back and if it was like, oh, I have this kit and I never put stickers on it, I'll do that. Because I got better about doing stickers because I wanted to, and I also got better at applying them. I got better tools to make that happen easier. So I did go back eventually, and I have gone back in the past to there's a piece there. I have gone in the past to touch stuff up with a few things. Also, the 86 from Initial D. It was my first ever glue kit, and I went back in and reinforced all of it because I put it together a little faster than I probably should have because I didn't know what I was doing because I hadn't used liquid cement ever. So I did go back to like reapply some places because like I actually fucked up the muffler, so I went back and like redid the muffler to kind of make it look a little sharper, and then I had some water transfers on that I was actually pretty happy with. So, but yeah, I don't always go back. I'm also not really keeping model kits that I'm building here. I have a couple that I'm going to keep. Like I think the Justice, the Gundam Justice is like pretty cool. So I'm keeping that, but I'm not going to keep like all of that stuff that I build. Um, Especially Lego. I don't generally keep Lego. I am keeping. I kept the Lego Monster Truck, the Monster Burger Truck, I should say, because the Monster Burger Truck rules. So I kept that. But all the other Lego before I moved here, before I left to New York, I donated. Because the places you can go and you just drop off a box at FedEx, and they'll pay for it when it gets delivered. And you can just donate some Lego in the United States. I don't know if it's all over the place, but I know it's in the United States, and that is pretty cool because they'll go and clean them and then donate them properly, get them into people's hands. which is really neat. But yeah, I don't go back. I've thought about that. I am also thinking. I've said this out loud, but I'm thinking I'm probably a couple Lego sets away because I'd like to get more Lego in my before I donate them. But before I donate them, after a couple more Lego sets, I want to take all the Lego that I have and kind of build something. Like just take what I have, put it all out on this table, and then just like kind of free form, or maybe like have like a couple tests and like design my own um, set and build something like free form. Because we've done one kit bash before. We made our own like our quote unquote our own kit for uh, like Iron Blooded Orphans. So we basically like combined two different Iron Blooded Orphan kits into one new one, which was really fun. Um, but I haven't had the gumption to do that again. Maybe someday. But yeah, like I said, I got those two kits coming, so my backlog's a little light. If anybody's ever been thinking about buying something for my wish list, more than welcome to. But I also have to make some purchases. I'm just waiting. Uh, I thought I was the company that I did some work for has been uh, bad about paying me, and I would really like them to, so that I can pay a big bill I have, and then also have money for other things. Because right now all my money's going towards that bill, and I would like to free up some of that money for this hobby before the first when I get my Patreon. But that has not happened yet. I'm really, really hoping that it fucking does soon. Anyway, that's going to do it for the stream. We're going to wrap up there. I know this was like, we kind of just eased on into the ending there. But thanks so much for watching. Oh, move that out of the way. We're going to go here. What are we going to do? We're going to raid. That's what we do at the end of every build stream is we go and raid. We're small but mighty here, and we're going to have fun. We're going to go hang out with somebody on a Saturday night, check out what they're up to. And I think it'll be fun, and then hopefully you'll come along. You're under no obligation to do that. A reminder: my next build stream is going to be Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're working on the Defiant, the Enterprise Defiant. That'll be the next project, which I think will be really fun. Kind of stalling because I'm looking for what we're going to do. I think we're going to go raid. I'm going to wait for this ad to go and make sure they're still going. But I believe we're going to go check out some Street Fighter 5 because my buddy Adam, aka Seabats, he's been doing a ton of fighting game stuff. He's really gotten into fighting games, and he's done this before. I think he's doing like a very like low key, like, hey, come if you're interested in this game. We're gonna do lobby, and we're gonna learn, and it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go and raid Adam because Adam rules, and I'm interested to check that out. I've been meaning to go check out his stream for this because I encourage him to try out new hobby stuff, and that's him trying out a bunch of different fighting games. So feel free to come along on that. You're under no obligation to do that, obviously, but I would love it if you could. So if you like coming along on a fun raid, come along with me on that. My next stream, Monday, 9 p.m. A reminder, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. I'm going to join in with some rad folks and talk about some Animal Crossing stuff, and I'm going to be on a very cool stream. So check that out if you got it Sunday. Now you got some Sunday plans. I'll see you in the next build with Baer. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.